My role was not some irregular channel, but the official channel. I reported directly to Secretaries of State Tillerson and Pompeo. In hindsight, I now understand that others saw the idea of investigating possible corruption involving the Ukrainian company Burisma as equivalent to investigating former Vice President Biden. I saw them as very different, the former being appropriate and unremarkable, the latter being unacceptable. In retrospect, I should have seen that connection differently, and had I done so, I would have raised my own objections. The problem was that despite the unanimous positive assessment and recommendations of those of us who were part of the U.S. presidential delegation that attended the inauguration of President Zelensky, President Trump was receiving a different negative narrative about Ukraine and President Zelensky.
I understand the gravity of these proceedings, but I beg you not to lose sight of the military conflict underway in eastern Ukraine today, the ongoing illegal occupation of Crimea, and the importance of reform of Ukraine's politics and economy. Every day that the focus of discussion involving Ukraine is centered on these proceedings instead of those matters is a day when we are not focused on the interests Ukraine, the United States, and Western-style liberalism share.
I don't think that raising 2016 elections or Vice President Biden or these things I consider to be conspiracy theories that have been circulated by the Ukrainians, particularly the former prosecutor general, are sort of they're not things that we should be pursuing as part of our national security strategy with Ukraine.
What did you recommend that he do to prevent the call record from leaking?
I recommended we restrict access to the package.
Had you ever asked the NSC legal advisor to restrict access before?
No.
And what reason did Mr. Eisenberg give you for why the call record was put in the highly classified system?
It was a mistake.
He said it was just a mistake?
It was an administrative error.
What did Ambassador Sondland tell you that he told Mr. Yermak?
That the Ukrainians would have to have the prosecutor general make a statement with respect to the investigations as a condition of having the aid lifted.
Now, did you tell Ambassador Bolton about this conversation as well?
I reached out to him as well and requested his availability for a secure phone call.
And what was his response when you explained to him what Ambassador Sondland had said?
Tell the lawyers.
The president came into the meeting and immediately started speaking. He had just a string of comments that Ukraine is a terrible place, they're all corrupt, they're terrible people, they tried to take me down. I tried to explain, but the president was not convinced, and he said that Zelensky is no different, that he has terrible people around him. You know, it's not what I hear about Ukraine, what we're telling him. You know, I hear that, you know, nothing has changed, talk to Rudy, that kind of dialogue as I described. I was never involved in anything that I considered to be bribery at all.
Okay, or extortion?
Or extortion.
Okay.
Among the discussions I had with Dr. Hill were about Ambassador Sondland. I think she might have coined it the Gordon problem. And I decided to keep track of what Ambassador Sondland was doing. I didn't necessarily always act on things Gordon suggested he believed were important.
At the time we deposed you, and I think we were there for 6, 7, or 8 hours, and we were asking you specifically about what you knew about these investigations. You didn't remember that Gordon Sondland had brought this up in the July 10th meeting with Ukrainians, and Ambassador Bolton called an end to the meeting. Ambassador Bolton described that meeting as some drug deal that Sondland and Mulvaney cooked up. You had no recollection of that?
Right, so in terms of Gordon bringing it up, no, I did not remember that at the time of my October 3rd testimony. I read the account by Alex, and that jogged my memory. I said, yes, that's right, that did happen. I do not, still to this point, recall it being an abrupt end to the meeting.
Is this whistleblower required by law, as the speaker said, to testify to us or not? And what is his absolute right to anonymity that you question? With that, I yield back.
Time of the gentleman has expired. I'd be happy to enter into the record the whistleblower statute that allows whistleblower to remain anonymous.